I'm just going to do a series of videos regarding this model. This model that I have, it's a world first. It's a system where magnetic fields recycle, get sucked back into the center here. It's perpetual motion and over unity. We know we get over unity with the things like rodent coils. They're called a dual coil system, and it's that magnetic field being created between the coils that we need to focus on. This is what Tesla talked about. The unseen, the non-physical is more important than the physical. We will advance quicker if we focus more on the non-physical, and that's the magnetic field. Earth runs on a magnetic field. They laugh when you mention perpetual motion. They don't want to know you. You can't patent it. But perpetual motion's all around us. How do you think Earth works? The magnetic field. What's flowing everything? What's flowing the electrons? The sun. Once the sun was created in the centre of the Earth, bang, it set everything going, everything flowing. Otherwise, it's dead, black, primordial waters. Chaos. Nothing happening. Blah, 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 blah. Starts flowing. Once you get the bang. I know Christians and flat earthers don't want to believe in a big bang. Maybe it's not a big bang, but there had to be some sort of bang because it created the sun. The sun is the plasma. It's the current, the voltage. Bang. Voltage in the circuit. The pressure had to build up and bang, you had to create the sun. Once the sun was created, creation was created. And that bang created the black hole. And boom. This is way beyond human comprehension. We all come from the black hole. Imagine a black hole we know nothing about. And around the perimeter of the black hole is the sun. We all come from there. I just thought I'd read this regarding this model. We have perpetual motion in nature. Our own Earth's magnetic field is a perpetual motion. You don't live on a spinning ball and all the actions out there in La La Land that we know nothing about. That's just ridiculous. You're going to believe science. Science says nothing about what's happening out there. It's all make-believe because it's beyond our realm. We are in here in a closed system. In this closed system. All the planets, sun, everything, all in the centre of the donut here. All in there, hidden. We can't see that. It's outside of our realm. Our own Earth's magnetic field is a perpetual motion. An unseen force. And Tesla spoke about understanding the unseen or non-physical. Focusing on the physical will keep you retarded. Basically what we need to realise is energy is created between two poles. But science has sucker punched the masses by telling you one end of your spinning ball, Earth, if you believe in that sort of garbage, is the south pole and the other end is the north pole. So what happens when you have two opposite fields? We get an attraction and you get a neutral. Positive, negative, proton, electron, bring them together, you've got neutral. They're trying to tell you live on a ball, but there's nothing going on in the middle. Neutral. No energy. Neutral, no energy. It's equal, nothing flows. We have to have two opposing forces to create the opposite force between them. It's a trinity. It's actually a duality. Everything's a duality, but the trinity is where all the magic lies. And you need the trinity to create. Creation comes from a trinity. And this is what we have on our flat earth. Here's the flat earth, the dual system, high pressure from the Arctics coming to the tropics, where the low pressure is. That's the opposing, not the opposing, the opposite field. These are two opposing, aren't they? They're not going to hit each other. They don't hit each other. You understand the induction motor, that the fields, they don't cross each other, they shoot off in opposite directions. That's part of the positive negative AC induction, but putting that aside, let's move on. We have to have two opposing forces to create the opposite force between them. North and south poles brought together leaves nothing between them. But two opposing forces must be either two south or two north poles, and what we get between them, a force, energy. That's what we're getting here. It creates the energy, keeps everything flowing. That's what creates the flow. Science tells us force and energy are not interchangeable, but force creates energy, doesn't it? Just like magnetic fields create electricity, and electricity creates magnetic fields. So force and energy is just another duality in nature. So we all know the duality is occurring all around us, but does anyone understand the Trinity? No. No. Especially science wannabes who have been schooled, who get on my site, and we know schooled rhymes with fooled, or sounds like fooled. Schooled and fooled. That's what these people have been. They've gone to school to be fooled. Now they think they live on a spinning ball. So now you know science has lied to you, because you can't have two opposites, because it becomes neutral. If the two opposing forces, then they have the opposite, the attraction, to get it flowing. With one end, north pole and the enter. But two souths and one north, this is the Trinity, just one of many. Trinities hidden from common man until now, thanks to Lindsay Harris. I'm the first person to discover this field here. Science should know about it. I think those high up the rank, they must know. It works just like a magnet. And the average guy doesn't even know how a magnet works. They've been fooled with magnets as well. Ken Wheeler will tell you. I think he doesn't even realise it works like this. But he will tell you the fields will come, there's no north and south pole. They're both rushing to the lowest pressure medium. North and south are the same. There's no opposites. Rushing to the lowest pressure medium, which is the tropics. Where are we? Yeah, so just realise, put this in your scrapbook. Lindsay Harris discovered this in 2020. But I don't think science can admit this. If they do, you're going to understand the two spheres, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, and a gap. And then it all leads to flat earth. So as soon as you realise there's flat earth, the big pile of dung comes crashing down, especially NASA. They'll get caught out. Now here on or in Earth, closed system, we have a trinity going on. We have the wind. Wind is a dual system. Heat and cold, hot and cold. Wind has a counter force to its direction. What science doesn't realise is wind is Earth's magnetic field, basically. If science wants to fool you again and say no it's not, then what the hell is moving the Earth's magnetic field? Well, the ancient Egyptian text tells us, Plato, the magnetic field has been carried in the wind. They use the word wind. Wind is moving it. There's nothing out there in La La Land. There's no out there in La La Land. Trust me. It's all here in a closed system. The magnetic field is flowing in the wind. Otherwise, it's all Scotch mist. That's what science wants to. They want to treat you like Europe, nothing but Scotch mist. That's for sure. So, what is the wind? What does it break down to? It is hot and cold, high and low pressure. Our whole atmosphere is based on high and low pressure. 7 layers up here, high and low pressure. There's the layers. Or with this planets in there. Condensed, of course. And what's sitting at the top? What's walking on the water? These are waters separated from the waters. Atmospheric pressures, water up there. Electromagnetic field with the water, moisture. We see this because of the moisture. What's on top of the waters? Jesus walking on the water, the sun. Our whole atmosphere is based on high and low pressure, counter forces, opposites, dual systems. But what is the third entity? What is the third entity that created the opposite? Otherwise, the dual system would only be the two opposing forces. Opposing. They're not attracted to each other, they're opposing each other. It's two positives and a magnet. Or two negatives. We need the Trinity to create the attraction, to move everything. Otherwise we are back to square one again, with two souths or two north poles doing nothing. Or chaos, it was called before creation. Well, the third entity is the sun. The sun created the heat, and now we have an attraction in the system to move everything. That's reality, everybody. The sun was created in here. Bang. It set everything in motion. That going bang creates this area in here, created the spin, the black hole spin. And now that's spinning, it's sucking the low pressure into it. This is a strong high magnetic field because it's all high, flowing out here, high. But it's being brought back because of the low pressure, the magnetic field created inside here. You know this in science, that two parallel currents create a magnetic field in here, and it shoots back this way, back up into there. You won't see it much in science where they're showing it going that way. But you go deep into a lot of other stuff, even YouTube channels, they're talking about magnetic fields and stuff. It's drawn there, gets sucked back into this high pressure, low going to the high, high going to the low. That's how it works. And this is how the system works. Got the high pressure coming up, and it flows down there. They're opposing forces though. It's coming down like they're coming that way, and that one's coming that way. So they go down there, and that's the magic. The third entity, you could say, is the magnetic field. That's the low pressure, and it gets drawn into this very strong. Look how close condensed that is. And when it's wound properly, it's got the magnetic field spinning in there. High field, say, sucks in this low pressure field, being drawn back into there. And the way Earth's created is, it's all going back that way, and bang, you get the sun in the squeeze point there, the very form, the finer point, like the centre of an hourglass. So hopefully someone's going to utilise this model and create something out of it, because it's not just the current. We could make this very strong. I could have that woven, really build up the current. You get a really strong magnetic field, but apparently it has to be. You've got to run an AC current through here, not a DC. DC's pretty dangerous, and I can't explain that, but it's in literature. People who know this sort of stuff, they know it has to be AC, because basically Earth is an AC system. Tesla knew all about an AC system. That's how it came about as induction motor, rotor stator. Now if you go on YouTube and look up perpetual motion and over unity, there's a guy there. He's sitting there, got grey hair like me, white dude. It's a very long video, and you can easily fall asleep with the way he speaks very slowly. But he basically is telling you what I've got on my head. He's getting it out eventually. Describes the whole system. It's the magnetic field, it's the unseen that's being created. And this is what we all have to work on. And this is how we're going to create the plasma in a proper how do you pronounce it? Tokamak reactor. You've got to get these two fields coming together like this to create this extra field in here to keep the flow into here, and the flow will come up through here too. With the high pressure and low pressure coming in, bang, creating the plasma in there. So there's several ways of going about it and using this technology. There's a painting out there where it's got the one ring and another ring inside it. You know it's being drawn into that ring as an ionizer, ionize the atmosphere. Or you can have this closed-in system like this, but you've got to so this can get sucked back into here. And you've got to get this flowing back up here. And then you can have a big open one outside, where it's just using the natural atmosphere. There's free energy in the atmosphere. It flows. It's flowing now. You give it the right conditions, it'll flow inside your unit. This model, it will flow. So, one day it will be running and you won't need a current. It starts flowing itself. Because Earth is a dual system, but you don't see any magnetic field. There's no cables, copper cables flying across the world anywhere. It's all a dual magnetic system, high and low pressure. And that's what it is, high and low pressure. That's all I have to say. Share it.